Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, today I'm going to talk about we have these keys, right? So, we have awareness is a key, and communication is a key, and compassion is a key. And all of these things are these key component ideas that we have to wrap our head around in order to heal or in order to help others heal. However, we don't always address how to do them, how you become aware, how you communicate, how you practice compassion. We don't talk about the steps to do that. So today what I want to talk about is the 5 steps to preparing yourself or navigating difficult conversations. Because let's face it, we all have to have difficult conversations. We have to have them with our children to keep them safe and to help them grow. We have to have them with our coworkers to make sure that the job place is a productive place. We have to have them with our spouses because if there is no communication, there is no marriage. Let's be real. So, how do you have these conversations? So, I came up with basically what I consider my 5 keys. The first one is to prepare mentally and emotionally. When you know you have to have a difficult conversation, don't fly into it while you're emotionally a wreck. Don't be high strung. Don't be tense. Don't be angry. Don't be fidgety. 'Cause it's going to be completely unproductive. So, how do you prepare emotionally? You might go for a walk. You might meditate. You might write down all the key points to the talk that you want to have and make sure you got them clear in your mind. What is the outcome? What are you trying to achieve from this conversation? You might also have to de stress yourself before you get into this conversation. Again, nothing worse than having a conversation when the other person feels attacked. So go outside, walk in your bare feet, do some grounding exercises, do some deep breathing exercises. Inhale some lavender. I mean, there are so many different things that you can do to get yourself emotionally and mentally in check or just stable and calm because you want to go into the conversation that way. Number 2, choose the right time and the right place. I was thinking of an example when my son was in high school, and one of it we were at a basketball game, and no, we were at my daughter's soccer game actually, and somebody walked by, and one of my son's friends said, "Oh my god, that was so much fun yesterday. I can't believe how smashed they were." And where do you think they got the weed? Right? So what does mom do? Mom immediately flies into this inner like anger, and I want to yell, and I want to, call him out for lying to me, and I want to because I thought he was at the movies. And I all these things rushed through my head, but it wasn't the right time and it wasn't the right place. And this kind of goes back to number 1 because was I mentally and emotionally ready to have that conversation? No, I would have literally just been yelling and stressed out and angry and accusatory and all those things you don't want to be. So choose a right time and choose a right place. You're not going to call out an employee in the break room in front of 15 other employees. You're going to set a time and you're going to talk to them in a private place where no one else can hear. It's nobody's business but you and the person you're talking to, and you're gonna do it then. This also part of the reason that I like this to be number 2 is because it goes right back to number 1. If you take the time to set the right time and the right place, it also gives you the time to work on the mental and emotional stability or the mental and emotional mood that you want to have when you go into the conversation. So, number 3, use active listening. Guys, when we grew up, a lot of us that grew up in households where people didn't listen to us, we felt unvalidated. We felt unimportant. We felt small. So if you're talking to somebody about something important, put down the phone, stop scrolling, turn the TV off, turn the radio off, whatever you got to do. Give that person the respect of giving them your undivided attention. Because let's face it, how important do you feel if someone is sitting there talking to you about something that could potentially be very important and they're checking their phone or they're looking at their email or they're nodding to people across the room and giving them the "I'll be right there" eye, right? How important do you feel? You don't. And then what happens? It becomes an unproductive conversation. And really the goal here is to not just have an important or a difficult conversation, it's to have a difficult conversation with a resolution or with some collaboration at the end. It's so active listening is super important. The next one is communicate with compassion and empathy. So again, we go back to people at the workplace who have always felt unvalidated or unimportant or not good enough. So use I statements with them. Tell them that you understand where they're coming from or that you've been there or you're concerned about them. Don't make them feel like they're being berated or on a like that they're being just chastised or condemned for something. Get in their shoes. Tell them you've been there. You understand. You've gone through this before. Other people in the office have gone through this before. Try to look at it with compassion and gentleness because we know. I just did a talk not too long ago, and it was called Trauma Informed Leadership in a Trauma Reactive World. We've all been through some stuff. We've all felt insecure. We've all been, so many of us have been beat down to where we didn't have a voice and we didn't feel understood or cared about. And it's a time it's time that changes. It's time that we be more productive and we look at people and we understand how to deal with people compassionately and with empathy because you're going to get a whole lot more. If I go and I'm trying to talk to my coworker about production or about how we act at work, excuse me, and they think I understand where they're coming from, you don't think they're going to have a little more trust in me or feel a little more close or have a little better of a connection with me? Absolutely. So again, compassion and empathy go a long, long way. And this goes for your children too, because we know it's such a natural reaction to want to protect our children, to want to, be right and tell them, I've been there, I've done this, and blah, 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 blah. But if you do it aggressively and you do it to teach them a lesson or you do it to show them that you're better, or it's not going to get you anywhere. So talk about your children. In my situation, I had a lot of those hard conversations because my parents were both alcoholics. So when the conversation about alcohol came up, it was very natural for me to have those conversations of, guys, understand, I've been there. My parents were drinkers. Their parents were drinkers. Their parents' were drinkers. So there is a good chance that you have that in your predisposition. So I want you to be aware. I want you to be concerned, to know what's happening, but also that I understand that you might have these concerns, or I care about the fact, or I'm concerned about the fact that you've been drinking. So just make it those conversations that is not belittling, berating, condemning, blaming. That's just not the way to do it. And the next one is to focus on solutions, not blame. This is especially important in the workplace. You need to find a solution that satisfies both people. So again, if you're the boss, yes, is it your way or the highway? Yeah, you can probably get a little bit of stuff done that way. But if you find something that works for both of you, or you take that person's input, ask them what they think, ask them how you can work together to get something done, you're going to have a lot better results. And the next one is just staying open minded. Look at other people's viewpoints. Don't be the end all and the answer to everything. Because although you may think you have the answer, this is why people mastermind. This is why people get together and work on things because you learn from each other. Look at alternative viewpoints. Look at other people's situations or other people's perspectives on things. Because a lot of times working together with someone and having that conversation, if you go in it not assuming that you're right, assuming that there are two sides to every story and two perspectives to every situation, you're more likely to collaborate with that person and come up with an answer that satisfies you both. So I guess I say all that to say this. If you want to have those tough conversations, which you are going to have to do if you are going to have productive employees, healthy children, stable relationships, all those things we want in our life, you're going to have these conversations. So, how do you do it? Again, you prepare mentally and emotionally. You get ready for that conversation and you go into it with a calm attitude. You choose the right time and place. You do it at a time and a place that is appropriate and private. You actively listen. God gave us two ears and one mouth, and He did that for a reason. So, actively listen. It will make You'll make strides in your conversation. The other person will feel validated and heard. And that is so important in today's world. You look at the situation. Number four, you look at the situation with compassion and empathy. People knowing that you have walked in their shoes, or even feeling that you understand what it feels like to walk in their shoes, makes people more at ease. It makes them less defensive. It makes them feel like you're not criticizing or attacking them, that you're working with them. And then focus on a solution, not blame. Nobody wants to be blamed for anything. So those are my 5 tips. I know that was pretty quick, but I just wanted to jump on here because I encourage people all the time to have these hard conversations, but I've never really told people the exact steps that I use to have them. So look over this list before you have that conversation. Hopefully, you jotted a few things down, but calm yourself, get to the right place, listen carefully, communicate with compassion, and focus on solutions. Those are my 5 big tips. I hope you got something from this today, because I know we all have to have hard conversations. And again, it's not with just a spouse. It's not just with a child. It's not just with a coworker. It's with anybody out there, because communication is the key. Well, thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you back. Have a great day.